can see, I like to collect a lot of memorabilia. So the first step whenever I am starting my scrapbook session is I'm going to organise it and see what I want to use. So I definitely won't use a whole brochure like this, but I might use a picture or two, or I might use some of the information or some of the titles from it. So I'll just rip that out, and then I've got a board over here where I've actually pre-made a few of them. So what I've done is I've laid them out so I can see page 1 Vienna, 2 Prague, 3 Berlin, 4 Amsterdam, and then I can kind of get a feel of what they'll all look like and how they're going to fit on. I'm just going to go through that now, and you can watch me kind of pick and choose what I want. I tend to like maps just so that I can put them in the background, rip them up a little bit and just give some context. For example, I've got 4 of these tickets, but I know that I'm only going to use 1, so I might as well chuck these through. So I actually took these photos on my phone, but I found the dimensions of what a Polaroid should look like, and I created a template on Word. I'll link it down below. I'll see if I can link it somehow in the description box below, so that you can then just stick your photos in the right size and then print them out and cut them out so that they look just like Polaroids, but you don't have to spend £2 per photo. As you can see, this photo is actually too long to fit into the Polaroid thing, but what I'll do is I'll just crop it to make it the perfect length. All I did was just use some photo glossy paper that I got cheap from Poundland. You can also get it in WH Smith's and stuff like that. I'm not sure if the difference is showing up on camera, but in real life you can see the difference between this kind of shiny print paper and then this is just what it's like when it's printed out on normal matte paper. The texture's also very different, but I think I actually prefer having printed out photos rather than real Polaroids, because when you're scrapbooking them it's easier to layer them, as Polaroids are actually quite thick, so sometimes they stick out and make the pages quite fat. So when I was younger I was given this Create sticker machine. As you can see, it is made for about a 4-year-old. I was about 4 or 5 at the time, and I still have it. I've still got some stuff left, so I might as well put it to use. I think I remember how to use this. This is like the slicer. I'm not actually sure how much sticker roll I have left in this one, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can turn my pictures into Polaroids, and then I can just stick them down without having to use any glue. Looks like I've come to the end of the roll anyway. I think just getting some of that laminate paper might actually be better, to be honest. We must remember that this is about 16 years old, but it's dead now. So I attempted to make a Polaroid out of my sticker machine. To be honest, I think it might actually be easier just to use sticker paper like the one that I used in my previous videos. Also, if you are really into DIYs and crafts and stuff, then I would definitely recommend this craft mount. It's a permanent adhesive that I just got off Amazon. This glue isn't just for paper, it sticks stuff like wood, cardboard, foil, all of that kind of stuff. So it's very heavy duty, so just keep that in mind. It's basically a super sticky glue, and it's really time efficient, it's really fast just to spray at stuff. Would recommend. So what I like to do behind the postcards, I like to have more pictures, and then I'll have writing on this side, but just so that you can't see them but you know that they're there. So I get a lot of these postcards and maps from the tourist centres of each place I visit. They're probably the best place to pick up stuff like this to scrapbook, as well as any of your tickets or any bus tickets or stuff like that. So far I've done a lot of photo sticking and map sticking. I thought what might be quite cool is to maybe add a painting in here of one of the pictures. Then I'm going to hopefully stick this into the spiral notebook with my lovely Clipmatic stickers. I've never done this before, but I've got some gold foil here, and I'm hoping to maybe put it on my artwork. So I glued down a design, and now I'm just going to brush away. I have to admit I've never done gold foil before, but it's kind of interesting to try and see what it looks like. I'm not sure if you noticed, but for both of these titles, ours and Uze's, I actually use scrap paper that has like a bit of blank white on it. That way I have less to recycle and less wastage as well. It also saves money because then you don't have to buy plain paper. For the titles, I've just done my usual calligraphy handwriting that I do in all of my scrapbook videos. I have also done a video on all of my favourite scrapbooking fonts and how to improve your handwriting, so I will leave them linked below. The stamp pad that I'm using to date all of my photos and titles is from Poundland. Something else that's quite fun that I like to do is use some stamps. So these are basically like stickers, but they last forever. So it's kind of cheaper, and you can get some really cool prints and you can change up the colours. You can also do ombre ones by just colouring certain parts of the stamp in different colours. My favourite ink stamps are the silver metallic ones because they show up really nicely on dark photos and also just on normal brown. Also then when the stamps are dry, you can actually write over them, so you can kind of use them as backgrounds in a way. Often with postcards, I try not to buy them in the tourist office, even though sometimes they have really, really pretty prints in there. But it's because they can be so expensive. So instead, what I will do is I will go to the back streets of a place, because often they have postcards in those shops, but for like half price. So it's worth having a hunt for the right postcards that will also fit the theme of your scrapbook too. Here you can see I've actually got some Hungarian forint from when we went to Budapest. I had some left over and I thought it might be quite nice just to add that to the scrapbooks. I thought that might be quite a nice addition. It makes it more 3D. This is actually the bag that the postcards came in, but I thought that the yellow theme kind of went, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to use my gold stamp and my bamboo because I realised that fits perfectly. So one thing I really like the look of in my scrapbook is when corners are kind of folded over. It makes everything look a bit more naturally paced. Just like, it looks like, oh yeah, that was used, that's old. It looks nicer when it's like that rather than just out like that. I've used pads like these a lot before in my previous scrapbook videos, but they're great for patterns just to add to backgrounds so that you can put text on them, and it makes the page a little bit more exciting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch around this so I can cut out my shapes from it. So with the painting, I ended up mounting it on this black piece of card because I thought that looked a bit more striking, and then I only have to stick in one piece of paper, and then it's easier just to compare the two pictures as well. So it kind of makes sense why I've got a random painting in my scrapbook. So I think the majority of my stamps come from the website papermania.co.uk, but again, I will leave them in the description box below. Now that I've got all the photos and borders in place, I'm going to flick through the scrapbook now and just fill it up with all the writing and details to just describe what's going on in the photos and my trips. For this I decided to use tissue paper because you can still see the map underneath it, but then ink flows really nicely on tissue paper, so it's quite easy to write on at the same time. So if you couldn't tell, it's basically nighttime now because the lighting is gone and it's not sunny at all. So these are all of the finished pages and all the stuff that I have completed today. If you found this interesting, then please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe for weekly videos on this channel, and I will see you next week. Have a lovely day. Bye!